Okay, today we're going to be looking at adding your own custom 3D objects into your hubs. And this is a technique that I just learned about, and I've been doing it like crazy ever since because it's so easy. You don't need like any extremely fancy equipment. It does help to have one of the newer iPhones or newer smartphones, but this was super straightforward. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is my phone, and it's this app called Polycam, and you can see a few of my models here. We're going to look at this one tree stump, and this is something that I was able to create in just a few minutes. Very easy. I was at a park and I saw this stump and I thought, you know what, that would be really interesting to do this technique with. So you come in here to the camera and you just walk around that object pointed at it with this. If you do this in auto photo mode, it takes all the photos when it wants to. You don't have to do anything. Just keep it steady and smooth. Do it from a few different angles. And then we end up with all of these photos right here. It took 52 photos as I walked around it. Again, I just started it and then stopped it. Now this is the raw mode, but for what we're going to be doing with hubs, most of the time we want to do reduced or medium so that it doesn't have this massive file. When you're done, you push upload and process, and what it came out with is this right here. It was a little bit bigger at first, and I actually cropped it down just to the stump itself. So that part we can go into more in depth in a different video, but that has like help files and tutorials and things with this app. That part really straightforward. Now I will say you can get a few free images like this when you do it, but to be able to use this at a larger scale, I think it's like $6 or $7 a month. Not a sponsor for sure. Now, when you're done, you can come into the same account on the web, and here we have our stump. So now I'm on my computer. You can see this file right here. Now this, for some reason, it has, I think it's because I hadn't refreshed. Let's come out of here for a second. Let's see that one more time. That's interesting. It's showing a different crop than on my mobile device, which I think is fine. It'll still work for this. I'll have to figure that out. The web interface is still, I find it a little bit less feature rich. Like I can't actually do the cropping here. But this is the first time I've had this issue where I wasn't able to see the cropped version. So that's fine. Let's talk about the next step here, which is to take this and to export it. We're going to use the GLTF file format. We'll start the download just like that. Okay, so then when we are in the hubs, which is, if you haven't used this, we're going to be doing a bunch of different content on this. This is Hubs by Mozilla. It's an open source, like 3D meeting space where you can have rooms to talk to people. It's up to 25 in the actual room, and then up to 100 in a waiting room who can watch what's happening. It's like an open source project, which means there are things about it which are developing at the rate of people working on it. It's not like a paid service, but on the other hand, it's not a paid service. It's something we can use for free. So let's create a room. And with this, we're just going to do the default. Now here we can spectate. That's the people who are just watching it from like the lobby. You can enter on a device. I use my Oculus Quest with this, and you can experience it in VR. Or we can just do this as a flat thing. I'll use that default. And here we are. So now we downloaded that object. I'm just going to drag it right out onto my space here. And there we have it. So we can actually, work on this and change some of the settings and things. But it's that easy then to have this that we're going to be moving. Let's scale it up a little bit using my mouse. And then, of course, when you move around the space, you can see it from all sides. So how does this apply then to what we're doing on this channel with teaching? This is a great way if you're doing some of this content in this format, in an online format. You can't do this in something like Zoom or Google Meet. And so what I would think is if you have the right size of class, every once in a while you can publish the link and people can come into the room and you can continue talking and teaching. Everybody has their avatar, and you can access this from any web browser, so you don't need necessarily like a special app or something. And then you can drop in different objects that you're talking about, and everyone can go look at them and walk around them and listen to what you're talking. So in my classes, when we talk about music technology, I could put in a microphone and say, everybody look at this microphone. And then there's an audio file that is something recorded with that microphone that I can drop in and have everybody listen to. You could set up a bunch of different rooms. So it's like a suite of little demonstration rooms. And each room you walk into, and there's a 3D object with some sort of sound or something playing, and people can experience that. They go to a different room, they learn something else. So they get to explore this at a different pace than if they just have to watch. So I love being able to create my own 3D objects so that I can use them and demonstrate them in a way that it's really hard to do almost any other way in terms of how easy this is. I mean, this is just so simple. So the first step was the phone, creating that. The second step was to go through, export it from the web. And then the next step was to go through and then just drag and drop it into our hub. Those are the 3 steps. I think that this can be a really fantastic way to enhance some of your teaching when you can't just be in person. And in fact, it may be worth exploring this in terms of what we could do better in an online format than an in-person format. Sure, it'd be great to be able to go into a room and have everybody look at some object, but say you have 25 people and it's not really efficient in that way. But this way, you could have everybody kind of looking simultaneously or going to the different rooms and then, they're exploring those things. So you could actually do this in an in-person class with everyone's devices, make sure everybody has a phone or a laptop that's compatible, that's working with this. And you just say, everybody, hey, go explore this, the hubs that we have set up for today's lecture for 10 minutes. And then they come back and you keep on talking. So there's a lot of options with this. We're going to look more at a lot of this technology because I think there's some valuable stuff here using this type of technology. But I hope this is a good start to this.